You are listening to the web's number one choice in spiritual growth and development. This is Heart Over Ego Radio, a network of shows to provide you with healing and guidance to improve the quality of your life. Check us out on Sundays with the Everyday Psychic Show. Mondays is the Alchemy Sisters. Tuesdays, Radical Spirituality. Wednesdays is Know Thyself. Thursdays, Transcending Love. Fridays, Rain Radio. This is Heart Over Ego Radio. Check us out on the web at facebook.com and Blog Talk Radio.
Happy Tuesday to everybody who is listening today. And hello, Mandee. How are you?
Hi, Crystal. Happy Tuesday. I am really good, really jazzed up. I got to see snow for the first time in 2 years today, and that's really important to my soul because I lived in Florida all last year, which was fun, but I really missed the change of seasons, and I love snow. So I was really excited that I got to visit with it today.
You know, it's funny because I saw your post, and I'm like sitting here after a snowstorm in Michigan yesterday. I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at that post, and I'm like, I love snow. It's so pretty, but I am so cold.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie. And I don't vibe, I guess, with Florida. I do, but I don't. It's just I really feel like someday I'm going to be sitting in Nevada, and I'm going to be happy and warm, and I'll come back to, you know, be in the snow for a short period of time instead of like all 8 months of it that we seem to get. So.
I'm not going to lie, you know, I have a lot of physical things that have happened with me and arthritis and fibromyalgia and different stuff that happened, but I've healed a lot of it because I did get to take a winter off last year and I got to really work with my body. And now I'm feeling it coming in a little with the cold weather and I'm like, ooh, but it doesn't hurt nearly as bad as it used to. So it's really nice to have been able to heal a little bit and to manage some of that stuff a little better. But every one of them, I don't know about you, but all of my clients and a lot of my friends and family, everyone has been kind of down, either headaches, not feeling good, just feeling lethargic or exhausted, really tired, dense energy, lots of Mercury retrograde ups and downs with feelings. It's been a very interesting, energetic thing the past couple of weeks here.
Yeah, and isn't tonight a full moon?
Happy full moon. Tonight is the full moon after the 11/11 portal yesterday. So pretty cool.
So I'm just going to say, like, actually, to get through my retrogradeness, because who doesn't experience all of that, I actually asked the universe, and it's mostly before reads or healings or anything like that. I thank the universe for helping me use any planetary shifts for positive information, positive clarity, positive influences, instead of focusing on the negative aspects, because I feel like so many people, when they share everything about retrogrades, it focuses on all the negative stuff. And if you don't really know how to, I guess, see those things as positive, people kind of tend to use those things as negatives in their life. And it's like, oh, I have headaches because of this. And it's like they look at it in a way that kind of brings the vibration down. But if you think of it as, you know, it's actually here to help you grow and learn and love and really love yourself, reflect on yourself and bring that shadow self kind of out into the open to manifest what it is that you've wanted. Once you start to really vibe with that and understand that, you'll use it in a different way to bring out the positive aspects, because lessons and growth, that's going to keep happening to all of us. That's never going to stop. If you think you're going to know everything, you are wrong. You won't be, and you're going to keep going through this your whole life. So you might as well try to find a spin on everything you can and make it a positive experience, I guess.
I agree. Amen, sister.
So it's funny. I mean, like, I don't know how many listeners have seen the post, but as many of you that don't know probably, I don't generally come up with topics until the day before a show. So I let Spirit give me random bits of information. And yesterday when I made the show, I was sitting there thinking, I don't have a topic. I have absolutely no clue what I'm going to talk about. Well, my friend Mary sent me a text. Actually, it was, I think, a couple days ago, and I was in the middle of a flare because I, too, have those beautiful autoimmune issues. And with our snowstorm, my body was like, oh, fuck you, not dealing with this today. So my brain was kind of mush, and I didn't answer her that day. But she asked me if I knew anything about water spirits. Well, I revisited the text today, which I also shared with Mandee, and it talks about like how they've received a couple different things happening in their house, like flooding. So she talks about, and I feel bad for her. I don't mean to laugh at you, Mary and Jeff, because I do know she's listening. I don't mean to laugh, but at the same time, it's kind of funny. So it's like our house in South Bend all can be said to be explainable, but there's a pattern. The toilet overflows and there's 3 inches of water that ruins the floor. The roof leaks. A waterfall into the kitchen. Dishwasher breaks down. Water softener breaks down. Pipes clog. Upstairs tub. In the upstairs tub, and a waterfall happens through the ceiling into the dining room. Oh, and the heating system, a boiler, which is water. She was like, am I reaching you? And she's kind of discombobulated. First off, I'm going to say Mary is extremely open and gifted herself. She reads people very well. Her dad, fun story, Mandee, just for you so you can connect with her and her energy a little bit. Her dad is this beautiful, amazing, like Sicilian man. I absolutely love him. But he's like this natural healer. And it's so cute because he makes his own anointing oil, but he has in his life actually physically healed people. Amazing little guy and fun to talk to because he's also spicy and I love him. But
oh, how wonderful.
Sitting here reading this text and I'm like, okay, so I feel like it's a premonition. It's either a premonition or a warning. And so when I see those things, I tend to, when it happens in my life, I guess is what I'm going to say, I call it kind of synchronicities. Everything is synchronizing together in a way that you can't ignore. And so, Mandee, what would you say about this? Like, what do your people tell you is happening to poor Mary and Jeff?
Man, I feel for them, number one, because nobody, here in our 3D human existence wants to go through all those things happening. But for me, when spirit communicates with me and things like that are happening right in my face, it's usually a reflection of something happening within me. So like if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, if I'm holding in all of my feelings and not processing the way that I need to, I might see some sort of flood or some sort of water sign in my realm or in my experience. So the first thing I thought of when you mentioned that story was, I wonder if there's any overwhelm going on in the family and if they need to maybe, just kind of clean out what's going on in their hearts and their minds, and they're holding in a lot and juggling a lot, and maybe it's symbolic of the energy that's happening within them. One of my favorite spiritual teachers is Louise Hay, and she talks about like how your appliances, your car, your refrigerator, all of those things, they run fine when we run fine. When we break down, they break down, and it like almost never fails. And it's always like that. Oh, and then on top of the cake, my car didn't start today. So, I dig that, and that was the first thing that kind of came through to me.
See, I do agree with that. Actually, with my ex-husband, my second ex-husband, because God knows I'm not great at love, but my second ex-husband, he was a hoarder. And I used to tell him, because I can't live in filth, I have such an issue with living in clutter. And I used to tell him all the time, I was like, the clutter on the outside is a direct reflection of the clutter on the inside. You need to declutter your life, because this literally, if this doesn't speak very loud volumes as to what you're dealing with in your mind, I don't know what, does. So you need to kind of figure that out. And so what I picked up, and I don't know, it was the first thing that kind of came to my mind, is that actually Spirit is trying to tell them that, and I don't know, because I didn't actually ask her. I don't know, Mary McKelvey, if you are listening, you can feel free to call in, and the number is 323-642-1188. That way she can kind of give us a little bit more information. But at the same time, I have absolutely no clue what their flood lines are. And what I saw when I read the text coming through was that they are actually in for a flood. And so is that a flood of emotions? Is that an actual flood? Because I feel like based on how Spirit gave it to me was that they aren't really in a flood zone. They're outside of a flood zone. So for them to actually have a flood coming to their house would be a little bit weird and also catastrophic. But at the same time, it's the only way that I can take it because that's what they gave to me. And that was without me sitting with it, I guess, at all, because I just didn't really know how to comprehend or sit on that one in the moment. But at the same time, I'm wondering if they're outside of a flood range and that spirit's way of saying, hey, Mary, take care of all the stuff happening in and around your life because, you guys have a flood coming to you. I don't know. That's kind of how I took it.
Right? Well, that's the thing. We get these messages, we get these ideas, these intuitive hits and downloads, but we don't know the end all be all of everything. And it might be something later that Mary's able to report back and be like, oh, it makes so much sense now. And this happened and this is what the flood, signified. But either way, I think all of those things happening at once is a cleansing. When all of that water comes through and water shows up, water can be very powerful with cleansing. And we see that all the time with Mother Nature here, with all of the different storms we have and whatnot all the time. Humans are able to adapt and move and change and survive. But sometimes Mother Nature comes in and needs to clear out that energy, and our rivers change and everything looks different. So when something like that's happening in someone's house over and over, I feel like it's a nice opportunity to get some energy cleaned out and release some old stagnant energy.
So I did have Mary Holden, but she
cool.
She left us.
She'll be back.
She left us. She was there, but then she left us. I was like, oh, hold on a second. Yeah, she'll be back, but Mary is a fun woman. And like I said, she's pretty spicy in her own mind and she knows a lot of stuff, but at the same time, it's just really funny. And also, while we're waiting for Mary to kind of come back, there she is. I'm going to answer it. I think that's her picture. Yep. Hello, Mary.
Hello.
How are you?
Well,
we're talking about you, so I feel like we should add you to the conversation.
Hi, Mary.
Hi. Yeah, just sitting there talking about me. That's just good. I'm used to it. Usually you're behind my back, so I'm good with you being in front of me and telling me.
So what are you feeling from this? Tell us your experience. You're highly intuitive. What's it meaning for you?
Oh, my gosh. Well, there is legit things going on in our lives, both of ours, that are overwhelming. But there's so much that happens in the house that I don't even feel like that's it. But, I mean, at the same token, I can see where you could come up with that conclusion, like we're projecting it on the house and the things that are happening in the house, the overflowing of emotions and stuff.
Oh, and that can be
with
for
everything
anyone.
else that
We were
goes on.
kind of talking about what the water kind of might signify if it comes into your life. So I feel like with yours, though, definitely there's some specific stuff going on.
So I'm also going to ask while we have you on the phone, like, what is it, are you in a flood zone?
Oh, goodness, no. We're not even close.
Okay.
It's just,
not even close to it.
It's just flooding in the house. It's just the roof leaks and, and it's just one thing after another. I have waterfalls coming down in different areas of my house, and it shouldn't be, But at the same token, like I said, they can all be explained. The toilet gets clogged and overflows. Okay, it happens. But so drastic.
I feel like it's synchronizing in a way that, I just don't feel like that's the case. I think you're actually on the ball with this one. It's got to be something. And the only reason I say spiritual is because of how precise it is in the sense that it's like all water. It all pertains to water.
Right.
And I know that doesn't really necessarily make sense to a lot of people, but at the same time, in my personal life, which has been crazy, and I don't know, Mandee, you can also add to this. In my personal life, when I have crap like that happen, I know that something's coming, and I'm like, okay, Spirit, what is it that you want me to see? What is it that I'm ignoring? Are they telling you to redo the plumbing or the pipes in your house? Are they telling you that your well system or whatever it is, the water isn't good? There's definitely something going on that they're trying to get your attention with, and it seems to all have a direct reflection on, like you said, water. So I would like to be more help with you, but apparently they're not going to give it to me. I would really love for them to download this information into me right now, but they're just not giving it to me. So
Well,
I'm
you know,
sorry,
it's never
but
when
I'm
we
not
want
sorry.
it. It's at their time.
Exactly.
See, and when things are going to happen in my life, there's other signs that I get, and I'm always very aware. And so, you know, with the things that have happened in the house, the things that we hear in the house, the things that we see in the house, and it's like, okay, wait a minute. Where is all this water coming from? And I know I said, you know, a water spirit. I guess I was meaning more of somebody that is, you know how you have your earth, your wind, your fire spirit. And I think it might be somebody or something that is a water spirit, not like a mermaid or merman or anything like that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It
That
makes
makes
more
sense to me.
than through text, because when you said that to me, I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? I don't know. Like, Poseidon, is that what we're talking about right now?
I know. You're like, in your house? I'm like, I don't know how to explain this. I just think that, like I said, I mean, Krista, you and I have talked before. You know, you talked to Jeff. We know that there's things that go on in this house. There's, you know, it's a, who knows, it could be a portal of some sort. But, and I just feel like whoever or whatever it is is blowing water at us. I mean, we've had a tree fall in the backyard, didn't do a dang bit of damage. We've had other things happen. I leave candles burning and things happen. I mean, nothing happens except for water. So it's like, what is going on? Why is this? I just feel like it's something in the house that is a water spirit, for lack of a better term.
So I'm gonna just play devil's advocate here with Mandee. Are you or Jeff experiencing a flood of emotions that you don't know how to deal with?
Yes, but no. I mean, I think I've been dealing with everything. I mean, you're familiar with, you know, my dad and the things all going there. But I've been handling things. Yeah, but I've been handling things pretty well. I can pretty much compartmentalize all that stuff. I mean, I can't say there aren't times where I'm going to break down, but, you know, Jeff, I know, has been going through changes and whatnot too.
But is Spirit telling you that it's okay to stop being so strong and that it's okay to be weak and break down?
Oh, no, that's not an option.
It's not the end of the world.
Oh, no, that's not an option. Like the rest of us radical empaths.
That's the thing, is I have broke down. I have let a lot of things go, and just, you know, and reevaluated and looked at them differently. And I mean, I've gotten Anthony, my son, has been very helpful in a lot of things where he's like, you know, just calm down, Mom. You know, and he comes from a different, more of a spiritual angle. When he says calm down, it's not like my other kid that's like, just calm down, like chill. You know, it's a total different aspect when he says it. You know, so I don't know. I don't feel like that's it, but I can't say that it's not.
So
I just
I'm
feel
going to tell you
there's something.
I'm going to tell you to keep me posted on this one and let me know if you do figure it out. You have like cards, don't you? Don't you have tarot cards?
Yeah.
Mary?
Yes, I do.
Thought so. So have you tried to pull cards on this question?
No, I don't like to pull cards on myself.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I don't like to. For some reason, when I pull them for myself, it's just a bunch of gobbledygook. It's like, you know, Jeff's dreams. They're just a bunch of gobbledygook. But I can, you know, do readings for others. Yeah. But, you know, I'm able to do readings pretty good for other people. And, I get my pendulum out. My pendulum is like, for me, I can definitely work with my pendulum for myself. And everything I'm doing is coming back as, yep, you're on the right track. You're doing this right. So I don't know. I don't know if
Mary,
it's the house or if it's me.
May I ask a question for Mary Crystal?
Oh, you go ahead and do. That's why we're talking to her, because I want to help people understand the synchronicities behind things. You can't ignore those things. Like, that's the whole purpose with this. it always means and leads to something. We might not see it in the moment, but it'll come to fruition. So go ahead. You do what you do.
Well, just, with sitting with Mary a little bit and talking with her right now, like I'm realizing, you're a very old ancient soul, and there's a lot of feminine energy. You came in here to ground, I'm sure, and I'm sure you've seen lots of lifetimes kind of showing you that. But I really feel you like in the ancient times, in ancient Lemuria and Atlantean times, and the Minnetonkan, like the original light workers, which were all like water-based planets. And I feel like some of the water spirit you're trying to get could be some gods and goddesses. Oshun is very connected to the water, as well as a lot of other things. And so if you've been calling in any of your divine feminine nature, or more nurturing, or standing in your ground and power more with that, you might be inviting in some of those more water like, spirits and energies and goddesses. But I'm not sure. But if you are really elemental, it could be a really nice healing quality for you too, like taking baths and working with the water and doing, water mirror gazing to download messages. Like I'm feeling like they're wanting you to use that water as a spiritual tool also.
So it might be that Mary's not quite listening to some of the messages that she's getting downloaded with.
I'm
Maybe.
not sure.
Because I'm good at that, Mary. I'm not picking on you. I am great at like putting up walls and being like, nope, not today, spirit. And you are so fast in everything you're doing, and you guys have so many changes that have taken place over the last 5 years. You haven't had any time to take care of Mary. You've had to take care of everybody else and do for everybody else, and you still are. And so maybe spirit is calling you right now, those ancestors, those ancient people who are your people, are telling you now is the time to slow down and inner reflect on yourself. And so we're going to keep having this happen until you see you have to slow down for you now.
Okay, but we've got a second half in the house. Why is it so my fault?
Question. First off, anybody who is listening, do not question the message. Only because, and I only say that because when we question it, and Mary knows this, I'm picking on her completely. I love this woman. You guys don't understand. Her and I are so much alike. But at the same time, it's so funny because I too find myself questioning some of the information that Spirit gives to me, so much so that I take 10 steps back in the process instead of moving forward. And so then I have all these other things that just don't align in my life. And then I start getting wall after wall or barrier after barrier because I am not tuning in, mostly because, and Mary, this is different. I don't know if it's different, but I'm just going to tell you it's different. For me, it's lack of loving myself enough to put myself first. It's lack of living my purpose the way that I'm supposed to live my purpose and, manifesting what I've always wanted since I was pretty much freaking born. It's not seeing myself the same way that those ancestors and spirits and guides and guardians and, higher self, it's kind of like pushing away all those things that I possibly can be and running from what it is that they're giving to me day in, day out. And then so much so that it ends up breaking me down completely. And then I have to take a step back because then Spirit's like, okay, well, and then everything happens all at once and it's kind of crazy. But sometimes that's the only way that they can give us information in our lives because that's all they have. They have to use tangible things that make sense to them, but might not necessarily make sense to us because it all comes pretty much in a cryptic fashion. So if that makes any sense to you, I would sit with that for a minute and try to see if that's what it is.
It makes sense, but I'm telling you, my gut feels like it's something. It's something different. It's not me. I don't. Maybe I'm.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, even
the changes coming with Jeff. I'm sorry, Jeff, because I know he's probably listening too. But there's a lot of changes going on with him, with the sun moving away over the next year, and that's going to be hard on everybody, because you're going to have minimal contact and all of these things. So maybe it's Spirit's way of trying to get you guys to have faith in certain things. Maybe it's not you, because you pretty much do have faith. That's how you've had to live your life. You've had to have faith in everything, and maybe it's we're getting somebody else on board with having faith in things that they can't see, feel, touch, understand 100% to make sure that they're not manifesting fears in different areas of their life.
I'm looking at my husband. I'm waiting for him to some response out of him. He's sitting across the room.
I know him. He's not gonna give you a response. He's gonna wait till he sees me next to throat punch me. Probably. I don't know. I mean, it's just a matter of, I guess my big question and his big question too, is there something in the house that's, I mean, and I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it's like, is there something in the house? Because we know that there's things. I mean, I hear music, I see things, we hear things. Things unexplainably happen. In the house. You have different spirit in that house, most definitely. There are several different spirits that are residing in that house, and it's weird because it's almost in the form of things. So that means that house was built with things from the outside of that house. And so I already know about the floor. I know about the floor, but I don't know if like there are other pieces of the house that maybe were used from barns or factories or anything else. But I feel like the house was kind of put together from bits and pieces of old abandoned things. And so you would definitely be holding the energy of all those things in your house as well. And the more you guys are there, the more Spirit's going to get to know you, your energy, and feel comfortable enough to you guys to start showing itself to you. And so maybe this is one of those things that just recently started to show itself to you. And if that's the case, then make it go away.
Yeah, that's the key. Get it to go away. Because saging doesn't seem to be helping on my end. I'm missing a different level. So,
do the rest of the spirits fall in line when you sage or protect or ask them to like calm it down? Like, do you feel like you have control over most of the spirits, just not this new water thing?
Yes, no. I mean, when I sage, I mean, it's like everything gets calm again. And then, it'll be, it depends on, if a week or 2, 3 weeks later, depends, all of a sudden something will start to creep. It's like, or the first thing is usually Jeff can't sleep. That's usually our first signal. And then I can't sleep, or I'm having some really intense dreaming. I get a lot when I'm dreaming. And then, I don't know. He doesn't hear the music. I hear the music. Sometimes I wonder maybe I'm schizophrenic and hearing things in my head, but I know I'm not.
No.
I know I'm not. But like, it's just the water things. I mean, it's big when it's coming. I mean, they're big things. I mean, I'm talking pouring water out of my ceiling. And the toilet overflowing and ruining the whole floor in the kitchen. I mean, it's not like, the sink overflowed for a second or, we spilled a glass of water. It's big, major stuff.
No, it's causing damage.
Yeah, it's causing damage. And it's like, this is not cool. So, I don't know.
Drive down to your house. Seriously, it's only like a 3-hour drive for me, I think, isn't it?
Well, I will be willing to pick you up.
Well, I have a car. I'm just saying I need to like go down to your house and like be like, okay, Spirit, what the F is happening in this house? So I can see, because sometimes things don't let me see through other people, especially people I know. And I don't know, Mandee, if you've ever had that, but sometimes I'm literally not able to see certain things because Spirit doesn't want me to. And so maybe if we're there and we kind of tag team it and they're like, okay, let's figure this out over a weekend, it can't run. So maybe that's what
I've been waiting to get you down here because I'm like, you just need to be here. That's all I keep thinking is she needs to be here. She needs to cleanse. It's not like, I mean, I can sage, but it's like you have more of a gift. You're more experienced in your gift of seeing and feeling and hearing the things that I know I'm missing, that I know are there. I can feel it there, but I can't figure out how to get rid of it.
I feel like this is a to be continued, Mary. I do.
I think so too.
Because
my husband's
feel
giving
like
me this look.
I mean, like, tell me when she's
sure
coming.
What
I
it
want
is.
to be gone.
I'm scared. Will you guys save me?
No, he just doesn't want to pay the repair bills. I know, Jeff. He's like, man, make it stop. Get this person out of here. I just really feel like there's something, I don't know. I just think that there's something more to this. I really seriously do. And it's almost more in the realm of somebody trying to talk to you, I guess. That's how
I feel like you're very protected too. Like I feel like it's something trying to get your awareness or your attention. And also, like I don't feel like it wants to endanger you. So maybe when you guys get to go down there, Crystal, and you guys hold space together, just ask it, what its intention is and what it's trying to pass along. Because I feel like you, especially you, Mary, there's so many different ways they communicate with you, and they'll be able to give you an answer. So maybe just start sitting with it, and I really do feel like you are protected though. So I just don't want you to be too scared.
Yeah. So I'm gonna type you up something.
Irritated.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I get that.
So I'm actually gonna type you up something like today or tomorrow that I want you to sit not only with your guides, your higher self, but also the spirit of the house. Okay, like the spirits in the house. But I also want it to be in a way that you are protected in case something yucky is there. Because I almost want to say that I feel like there's a negative vibe in the house. Not necessarily with this, but I do think there's something in there that's not quite right, if that makes any sense to you. I don't know if you guys have felt a shift over the past 6 months in some of the things that you felt or some of the things that you've experienced. I don't know, you or Jeff, you would be a little bit harder to manipulate your feelings or fears through other things. But it's almost like it's just happening. It's not something that's been there forever. It's just happening. So why now? And I don't think it has anything to do with the water. I really don't. I literally keep seeing an old man working on the plumbing is what I see. Like it's literally showing me copper piping is how it's coming through. And so I have no clue what it is that they're trying to show me. It's this old man wearing suspenders and old work pants with boots that are really worn. He's got holes in his toes. He's got on a newsboy cap, but he's sitting there wrenching on your dang pipes. And it's is he somebody who used to be a part of the house? Did he help build the house? What is he and who is he and why is he trying to help you guys fix whatever it is going on? And secondary, what is it that's actually going on? What are they trying to tell you? I guess is what I'm saying. I don't feel like there's anything negative that you have to worry about. However, I do feel like there's a different presence that's more starting to shift in the house, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, yeah, I need to type you up something that will keep you protected because I don't want you opening up to just anybody if that's what it is. We need to make sure it's opening up to the right people so you can sit in the space and try to vibe with it, because if they're talking to you, they're going to want to talk to you. That's just how it is. But at the same time, we can go there together and kind of tag team whatever it is and sit in the space for a little bit and see what we can figure out.
I'm game to figure it out. That's for sure, because my wallet is not feeling happy.
I bet.
And also, after you're off this, please tell Spirit, which I'm sure you already did because they're telling me you already did. Let them know, we understand money is not a thing for you, but it is a thing for us. And if you are going to put us here on Earth to live on Earth, you need to make sure that this is going to stop. So until things, come to fruition, I thank you guys for shutting down all of the repairs that need to be done. I thank you for just shutting it down for the moment until we can try to get back online with each other and figure out what language you're speaking to me in, because obviously it's not the same one. And then thank them for bringing that to you.
I can do that.
Yeah, I know you can.
We can
That's
do
why
that.
I said Mary's a fun one to have a conversation with. I asked her today if it was okay to talk about her on the show, and she's like, okay, yeah, sure. But I feel
that was more absolutely, go ahead, talk about me. Good with this. Give me some answers.
But it's one of those weird things where I think that actually there's more information involved in the house, but there's also a temperature change that I'm picking up on that I've never felt in your house before. Your house has always felt very light to me, and it's always felt very homey. But it's almost like I have somebody standing outside of the window looking at me. And when I feel that, I feel intimidation, I guess I'm not going to say fear, but it's almost an intimidation type feeling. So it's almost like something lurking, I guess is what I'm going to say. That's more of the vibe I get from whatever it is. And so I know certain people would be more affected by this than you because you're somebody who's going to stand in your space and say, not today, don't mess with me. You need to go back to wherever you came from and get out of the play. But other people in your house are going to get up in the middle of the night and feel something staring at them from behind them, and they're going to go right back into bed because it's going to creep them out, or you're going to have every light in your house on. So I just think there's something changing. There's something that somehow is there that shouldn't be there, I guess. It's never felt like that to me. Your house has always felt very airy and fun.
My house is airy and fun, so they got to stay away, and that's all there is to it.
So sage your house.
Yeah.
Keep sage in your house.
I'll be saging.
And we'll talk. I feel like there's, I'm not scared to drive in winter conditions, so I'll drive.
All right. Like I said, hey, I'm willing to pick you up. It'd be a great road trip. It'd be an interesting road trip. I will talk to you later, Mary. Thank you for letting us talk about you. No problem. Thank you both.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
So fun enough, Mandee. The reason I was talking about synchronicities is because I was watching, I don't know if you saw my post on the Kentucky Goblin yesterday.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. So in my stupor yesterday, I told Mandee I had like a flare, and it caused me to just like be in this weird space yesterday. So in my time off that I actually sat with my space, I watched this documentary on the Kentucky Goblin, which actually started from a podcast that I had listened to a couple weeks ago. I listened to the first podcast and I was like, oh, okay, whatever, because it's about aliens. And I'm not really that into aliens. I'm just like, yeah, they're out there, whatever.
Yeah, me too, pretty much. They're starting to communicate a little. I learned some more, but in the grand scheme of a lot of people I know, I'm a novice.
Yeah, like whatever. Aliens are there. They're part of our world. They walk amongst us. I'm not going to get my panties in a twist about them. So whatever, But then I listened to another podcast that came out yesterday while I was actually in the shower, and it was like the return of the Kentucky Goblins Part 2. And I was like, oh, so I don't know why, struck my fancy. But then there was some guy who had talked about it in 2017. And then I got to thinking, because then it they shared these emails back and forth. And in the emails, there's actual photographic evidence of what had taken place. And I'm not going to talk about the actual photographs that the person took because that can be explained away. But the footprints got me. There are these footprints. Footprints you can't because you can't make up lines in the bottom of, or lines and creases in skin. That's not really something that you can, make a hoax. If I were to step in the mud, you could tell it would be a human. If you were to take an object or something like that and place it in the mud, you would be able to tell that it wasn't a human or whatever. And so after watching that, I was like, okay, so this guy, they talk about how somebody did a docuseries on YouTube about it. So then I was like, okay, now I'm in. There's these 5 episodes called Hellier something, I can't remember what it is, but it's like these people go to Hellier, the people who received the emails. They go there, and through the time that they start talking about everything until the time that it's done, there's so many different synchronicities that happen between them and people who aren't even a part of their team. And so it's almost like these people have things happening in their lives, and then they end up calling them for advice or for other things, and these people are like, are you kidding me? Because this just happened to me. And so that's odd. And so it's like, okay, that's the stuff, like Mary, that's kind of what struck my interest in her story, I guess, is because it's the synchronicity behind water. And so there has to be something that somebody is trying to speak about in this. And so it reminded me of the Kentucky Goblin case, which I'm just going to go on the record of saying that I do not think that it is alien anymore. I actually think that it's spirit. And I think that what they're actually seeing are children that were transformed and their innocence was taken by a different, darker spirit. That's all I'll say for anybody who does want to listen to that. But it was really interesting. So now I want to take a trip to Kentucky and go look at these mine shafts where these little alien creatures are supposed to be living. So that's my last 24 hours.
Fascinating. I'll go with you. That'd be fun. Interesting. Yeah, when you're telling me about that, it made me think about, a lot of the alien things I've seen where people, have experiences of being abducted when they were like, 10, 11, 12, or like different ages and showing up in different places. So I can see why people are automatically assuming that, but I can also see why you would think it could be a spirit thing too. So yeah, I'll have to check that out. Sounds very interesting.
Speaking of things we're checking out, have you seen the Joker yet?
Not yet. We're supposed to go, but I went to witch school last weekend and all kinds of stuff, and I haven't gone yet, but I'm excited for it, and I will.
Like, we talk about a lot of things on this show, so I was just like, okay, have you went and seen that yet? Because I don't know, it's very funny, I guess, that certain things kind of come out, and I'm in the realm of not getting too stuck on certain things because people can go crazy trying to find spirit wise. Spirit doesn't give you everything, and there's a reason for that because they want you to explore your mind, body, and spirit yourself. And so I found that, and I'm sure you have too because you have so many clients, I'm sure you have found that people human things up way too much in the realm of their life trying to search for answers.
Oh yeah, I was so guilty of that too.
Analyticalness is kind of like the scientific, and I'm loving scientists. I love scientists because of their way of processing things for analytical people that I myself can't, because when I say stuff, it's like it literally just gets downloaded and I'm like, okay, cool, that's it. That is what it is because Spirit said so. Other people are like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense to me. But it took me a long time to get here to that place. But with that also being said, it's like it kind of speaks to our daily lives, what Mary is dealing with, what other people are dealing with. Like you brought up, cars breaking down, different things in your house having issues. So your car this week, it's the transmission. Next week, it's the brakes. This week, and so there's a specific set of synchronicities usually behind this. And sometimes all we can do is kind of take a rest and sit back and thank not only our higher self, our guardians, our ancestors, and all of the people who work around us, angels, guides, everybody. We can thank them for being a part of our space and helping us see, understand, and feel what and why these things are happening, and then allow ourselves to be patient, because also humans are not patient by nature. We're just not. We like things to be answered now, and if we don't have that answer in front of our face, we go searching for it. And sometimes we're not supposed to search for answers. Sometimes we're supposed to just let those answers come over a period of time, because all things will come when they're supposed to. Which kind of brings me to, before we got on the phone, I was talking about flaring and how I think some things, I really feel like all the stuff that I went through in 2013, 2014 with my last ex-husband, I feel like the flares and the being exhausted and all of the stuff that I'm going through now and over the past year, it came on very fast. And I really feel like Spirit taking me out of channeling for a while and taking me out of the situation was their way of saying, Crystal, rest, because you have big things coming to you. And it could be in the sense of clients. It could be in traveling more. It could be in whatever. I don't need to know why. But I really think that my getting up and moving through all of the obstacles kept me from taking a break at that moment in time. And there's 90 seconds left in the show, and I want Mandee to kind of speak her piece on this and also give information on where we can reach you and Jenny. Go ahead, hon.
Yeah, I loved everything you're saying, and I do very much believe too in ascension symptoms. And sometimes when we're growing spiritually, it takes a little while for our body and our vessel to recalibrate and catch up, and it's kind of like growing pains, and these things can happen. So we can talk about that another time, though. But yes, you can find me, Mandee ELam, and my beautiful business partner, Jenny McDaniel, on Facebook /The Alchemy Sisters, or on our website, just alchemyascensionacademy.com.
Well, that was so quick. That was so quick. You can reach me. I'm Mid Mitten Medium pretty much anywhere you go. And actually, that might be a good one. You probably will help more with the ascension stuff and the ascensions. Like, I'll let you take complete reins over next week's episode, we can do an ascension episode because that's a really interesting one. I don't fully understand ascension. I do have all of the symptoms of ascending, but at the same time, I don't really fully understand what the ascension is other than we're growing pretty much. So that would be a good topic for next week. And if there are any people out there who have information on aliens or consider yourself an alien connoisseur, reach out to me because I would really like to have you on a show also. And that's Mid Mitten Medium at yahoo.com. Thank you so much, Mandee, for this wonderful Tuesday.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Mary, for calling in. That was quite a discussion. We covered a lot of stuff. And I thank our listeners and hope everyone just has a great week and a happy full moon. Release what is no longer serving you and invite in the new.
Thank you so much. You have a beautiful night.
You too.
Bye.